Hello and welcome to the second game of the day. It is day number 5 of StarSeries, and we have got ourselves the second game that we see from Uebelst, and also the second game of today. It is RoX.KIS taking on Uebelst Gaming, and we are gonna see if Uebelst can get themselves a win. And of course, with me is Vykromond. Vykromond, welcome back.
Good to be back, Sheever. Already some interesting things happening in this draft. Currently, we've seen Abaddon picked in the second phase, sometimes as 5th pick, but his profile continues to climb. RoX.KIS taking him first, so they clearly feel really good about this, starting out with the Abaddon. I actually like this draft a lot, as long as they fill out their tri-lane with very dangerous heroes, especially one that can sort of get ahead and use that Abaddon aphotic shield to its best effect. Razor is great against OD, so I think they're already in pretty good positioning. RoX.KIS, of course, I guess we should talk about their roster, because they added Tron towards the end of last season. He's been removed, and now they have Nexus and Seedoy, who are ex-CD.
Yeah, of course, I mean, the official roster only had BZ and Yol up until yesterday, when CD indeed decided to disband, split up. Nexus and Seedoy have joined RoX since then, so they're now up against a team that has replaced CD in StarSeries, which is Uebelst. That's why they are here for the first time. Of course, I mean, this is RoX's first game of the season as well, so that has to be said. But Uebelst only since yesterday evening inside StarSeries, and we're gonna see how they will do. I mean, last game was not really all that impressive by them, but hopefully they learn from it.
Yeah.
They will have, indeed, like you said already have a bit of a tough time in that mid lane with an OD up against a Razor. Still have the Nyx Assassin in the pool as well. I think that RoX might want to still pick that one up, and they can. I mean, they can ban something out right now and then pick something up straight away. So we'll see what they go for from here. Last couple of times that we've seen Abaddon, he actually says Abaddon when he gets picked. I played him for the first time today, but he actually says Abaddon when he joins the game. So I'm gonna assume that that's the way you pronounce it, since voice actors normally have their name kind of right. But they are. I've seen them mostly on or a lot on duo lanes lately.
Yeah, it's certainly an option. He's a hero that does want to get a little bit ahead in levels early, although honestly he's fine just staying at pretty low level as well, because aphotic shield, the main effect is the debuff shucking, and that happens at every level. But still, you can definitely just stomp a game if you get your Abaddon far enough ahead. If, as you mentioned, they want to go with something like Nyx Assassin, they definitely need to make sure that one of those two, and probably both of them, gets decent leveling. Nyx Assassin is fairly level dependent, so you don't want them both being stuck at level 2 for a very long time, because your lineup will just peter out. So they're going to have to be careful if they do decide to go with the Nyx. One option is dual lanes, as you said. Another option is just have very tight control of their jungle. But instead, Centaur. This is a cool combo. This is I know Goblack from VP has been running this a little bit.
They ran up against RoX, right? Or with RoX?
I don't know, actually.
They were playing. Yeah, they were playing with RoX. We casted that. They were playing in. Oh, actually, I casted it in. I don't know. I think I casted it with Kunaz. They casted it in Tech Labs, and Goblack and G were actually standing in for RoX.KIS at Tech Labs, and Goblack actually drafted it for RoX. So we're gonna see a dual lane, probably Abaddon Razor top.
So Abaddon Centaur Warrunner is a pretty funny combination because of a number of reasons. One is that Abaddon doesn't really have any closers. Like, his slow is, he has to hit somebody to actually activate it. It's not a very big slow. He has no stuns. But the Centaur Stampede lets both of them get in very quickly. Secondly, aphotic shield on Centaur Warrunner is hilarious, because even if the other team avoids him as much as they can, Double Edge will almost instantaneously proc the explosion of the aphotic shield. So Centaur Warrunner can basically not do damage to himself, deal a tremendous amount of AoE, get into the fight, and just really dominate, honestly. This is actually one of the few contexts in which we have seen Centaur, but if this hero gets ahead, he can be terrifying in a one roll.
Oh, I hope that he has a chance to get ahead. Of course, for Uebelst, that's not really what they were hoping for. They really need some early game power. As we saw them, they lacked that in the previous game. And I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do this game, because Nature's Prophet is not one to be very active very early on, unless there's an aggressive tri-lane that he can assist with. OD normally he can do something around that 15 to 20 minute mark, but there are mids that can be more dominant than him, and he is up against the Razor, so it's not the most easy lane for an OD either. So I'm really hoping that they can pick something up that can definitely make something happen. And look at that, we have a Bane Mirana combination, arrows into nightmares. Kind of hoping it's going to turn into an aggressive tri-lane, but there's no guarantee. But it is actually something that can already fight.
Yeah, the Bane Mirana is definitely competent. The issue with this composition is always that if Bane Nightmares to set up the arrow, you can just shift the Nightmare onto somebody else and dodge the arrow. Furthermore, Abaddon can just remove the Nightmare. So I'm not actually sure whether they'll be able to land this combo. It depends on where they lane it. Like, if they manage to avoid the Abaddon somehow, or if it's a 3v1 lane, then I think they can absolutely dominate. They can destroy a 3v1 lane, but it's tricky. I gotta say, I don't really love Uebelst's draft this time either.
Well, they still have one more pick left. They can save the honor. I mean, we could always have Nature's Prophet in the jungle and then still have a very strong offlane, like a Clockwork, that can just wreak havoc all over the map. Who knows?
That's true, but then you have Bane Mirana as a dual lane potentially against a tri-lane. That worries me a lot, because Bane, especially low-level Bane, does very, very little in that lane other than throw nightmares on people, which, as we just said, Abaddon could just remove. And Mirana, a hero who, in a 2v3 lane, for instance, is really going to struggle. Her really bad base damage is going to make it difficult for her to outlast a Centaur, for instance.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin still removed from the pool, was still in the pool, of course, for a while, but it's RoX that removed it from the pool. They already have their support, still expecting a secondary for Uebelst. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Jakiro, Lina, Leshrek, of course, all following up on that Nightmare, but we'll see what they end up going for.
I actually like the Nyx ban because I believe he can almost automatically trigger, like, Centaur anytime he wants. He can stun him with Spiked Carapace just by turning it on and hitting Centaur.
Yeah.
So, that would be very, very annoying if you're the Centaur, so...
You're gonna be, put out of play a lot. One thing that we lack here as well is solid disables coming up from Uebelst that they can actually attack through. Of course you have an arrow, which is awesome, but...
5 seconds.
I mean, you have got a Nightmare, but you can't really attack people through it. You kind of need to be able to just stun up a Razor so he can't do any damage. I mean, he might be sucking attack damage away from someone, but you need to be able to take him down before he can actually use that attack power to kill off other people. So hopefully we're gonna see something coming off from Uebelst that can actually destroy or stun people, as someone that can stun people is picked up by RoX. We have a Spear Breaker. I'm really hoping for a Rubik Spear Breaker lane, an Abaddon and Centaur lane, and then at 10 minutes in, I mean, imagine, like, the movement speed is insane. The mobility from this team.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I do think that you mentioned dual lanes. I think that's definitely an option. Spearbreaker is quite a good dual lane character, actually, because he does pack so much of a punch, and he has amazing... He actually has amazing base damage. Like, check this out, it's 65 before items. So this guy hits like a truck early on. Not treant high, but it's pretty high. I saw this pretty cool amateur tournament where a team ran Undying Spearbreaker dual lane and just beat a tri-lane easily with it. Rubik, of course, less capable of winning a 2v3 lane than Undying is, but I like this lineup from RoX.KIS. It's very non-traditional, but I sort of see where every piece of it slots in. I guess the main danger is if they just, like, if they're overly greedy a little bit and all these heroes sort of hit a wall before they get their first, like, item or two, then that could be trouble. Otherwise, I could see this just destroying what Uebelst are packing, and the Spearbreaker does give them a disable that goes through BKB, by the way, so as long as he doesn't get caught by Enigma's black hole, he can interrupt it.
Yeah, and the black hole, indeed. The last pick for Uebelst, I like it in a way that they say, like, you know what, we're not going to be able to win in a tri-lane against you, no matter what kind of tri-lane you get. So we're just going to run something in the jungle, and we're going to try to destroy you in team fights. It's really tough, though. I mean, you've got yourself a Rubik on the other team that will be easily stealing that black hole, because I'm going to assume that Sunlight knows what he's doing, because, you know, he's a professional player. and is standing back and steal the black hole and can just turn it around. It's very scary because not just do they have a black hole, which is a big ultimate to steal, but there's a Fiend's Grip as well. There are so many good things to spell for this Rubik in this game. And of course, I mean, I say Fiend's Grip and black hole because both of those are very easy to take down as well, or to steal rather, for Sunlight.
And Sunlight, yeah, I mean, he's a player we've seen around a lot. He did a lot of standing in for Empire, I know, like last season and this season. Like, he's been around for a while. He's quite good in the support role, so I definitely think he'll be more than capable of stealing what he needs to from Enigma, for instance. It's another dangerous position for Uebelst. I mean, OD will still do fine. Razor is generally considered sort of the hard counter in lane to OD, but OD still does okay, even against his nemesis. And obviously Enigma will farm well. The main issue, what I'm really scared about for Uebelst, is this dual lane. If Mirana and Bane can actually do pretty well here, I think they'll be very comfortable with the way the game is running. If Mirana and Bane get dominated, then we might have some issues.
Yeah, then the only way to get back into the game would be an OD that is quite fat in that mid lane, or they try to stretch out the game very long so that Nature's Prophet can do his jump in terms of split pushing. But we'll see. RoX, of course, want to make something happen here. Perhaps they want to wait until they're level 2. That might be an option, as Sidoi is get himself some reduced attack damage and feeble spec first. It does mean that there is no Nightmare, so should RoX go in, there's no way of stopping them apart from perhaps an arrow picked up by Mirana.
Yeah. I actually think the Enfeeble was a very, very smart choice. First of all, it equalizes and actually puts the, like, Centaur has 57 base or whatever, and Mirana only has 40 something. So if you want to sort of even that out, putting Enfeeble on Centaur is the way to do that, right? Like, it'll make sure that his attack damage is not much better than Mirana's. So you can see he's 5 for 2, Mirana's 5 for 0. The other thing about taking Enfeeble first is I'm pretty sure... Oh, there's the arrow, but it doesn't do too much, it's just sort of a keep away tool. The Nightmare would just get removed by Aphotic Shield anyway, so... I don't actually know if Aphotic Shield removes Enfeeble, but I don't think it does. But I'm not sure.
I don't think Enfeeble was removed by anything, and I think if it was removable, I think Yul would have done it by now. Telekinesis, oh, there's a leap, nicely done. And indeed, there goes the shield, and the Enfeeble is still on.
Yeah, so that's exactly why Enfeeble is a vastly better choice in this lane. Nightmare is just not going to happen, and it would be kind of cheeky, maybe? I can't think of the right word for it, but it wouldn't be a good idea to just take it just in case the other team is so bad that they forget that they have a Aphotic Shield.
Yeah, that would be kind of awkward if you're gonna assume that from your opponent's team. We didn't actually introduce players who's playing what, I believe, as we've got, well, I kind of feel like a first blood can happen in any lane at the moment, so it's kind of, I'm kind of trying to see all lanes a little bit, but let's go over the player.
A couple more levels.
Yeah, let's go over the players a little bit. We have BCZ who's playing the Razor in the mid lane. He's doing well. He's 10 for 6, and he is winning it from OD at the moment in terms of last hits. On the top lane for RoX, we have Nexus. He's playing the Spirit Breaker, also winning his lane. And then on the bottom lane, it is Sidoi playing the Centaur War Runner, Yul on the Abaddon. And then last but not least, where did he go? Oh, there we go. Sunlight, of course, the one that you already mentioned. He's the stand-in for RoX at the moment, and he is gonna try to, well, help kill off Exist. Let's see if he can make it. In comes also Enigma, though, pass. Oh, this might be trouble for Sunlight. There might be a Manifest there, is level 2. And this will be first blood. Sunlight is totally blocked in. Tries to go for telekinesis, but a couple of last hits needed, and that is OD with first blood. Not the way that he was expecting it would go. Sunlight.
Definitely not, but he just got completely caught out by the Enigma as he moved from camp to camp. So once he saw the Enigma, I think he knew pretty much how it was.
Yeah, we've got Nexus looking for bashes here up on Eid. Nice attempt for blocking for Eid. Looks like it's gonna be enough. Still have Nexus trying to find him though. Look at him try. There's still a Sprout up. Maybe he can try and turn this around for some reason, but yeah, he's gonna try to TP out. Oh, the charge. Nope. One bash. Come on, Nexus. Can he actually bash? He has got level 2 bash. This is just running around the Rosie. This is... I mean, I got in here with my camera. Yeah, there we go. Like, already when it was going on for a while, but Nexus with a kill. Smiley face going out as well.
That was truly bullman-tastic.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Alright, well, just going down, but he did get the... It was after First Blood, so he wasn't his team's first death. EDE Dota, reprising his role from the last game as Nature's Prophet. Hopefully he's having a better time this game, unquestionably. Just dying for the first time, he's already level 4. It took him much longer to get to level 4 last time. In the middle, Exist racing Business Perfect to the rune. Doesn't feel like he can get it, but he is on the Outworld Devourer, has his Tranquil Boots. Very typical OD item here. Then in the jungle, we have Pos. Formerly or currently of Mao's, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, Pos is on the Enigma, and then this dual lane bottom comprised of Alex on the Bane, also formerly of Mao's, and Sky on the Mirana. Oh no!
Yeah,
he gets picked off.
He just got charged and ultied, and basically that was it. I think that can happen every time from now on. I mean, Nature's Prophet level 4, of course, because of that kill, Nexus got ahead, and he got his level 6, and from that point onward, Nature's Prophet, anywhere that he's on the map by himself, he's gonna die if he doesn't pick up a Shadow Blade, and even then, of course, there's gonna be dust for Spirit Breaker. I think that lane is about done. Right now, Nexus, of course, not having the mana to go for the same combination, but pretty scary stuff coming off to eat here on the top lane.
For sure. I mean, Spirit Breaker, he has very low health now, but he's just going to heal up with the salve. And yeah, the stuns, the fact that he had that tango the last time, I mean, that first kill was the really critical one, to tango through the trees that ED was putting up and just killing him. And now Sunlight, yeah, he's just zoning. Here it comes, he lifts him, I think he's dead again.
Yeah, the charge is there. Luckily for him, there's no Nether Strike, but it doesn't matter. Fatebuild will pick him up.
Well, he had the proc.
Yeah, and the bashes, of course, are, yeah, just luck, but it's a lot of damage if you do get it. Only one needed, I think, to really secure yourself a kill. So far, Uebelst, I mean, they got the first blood, which was great. But now they have to just try to find a way to not get picked off too often, because with Spirit Breaker at this level, he can just charge up to any lane, and I think that would result into a kill. Maybe OD will keep himself safe with some TPs incoming. And actually, we've got Uebelst trying to make something happen. We've got Enigma level 6. In comes an arrow. Yol gets it. There is a black hole available. Do they want to take it? Abaddon already dead. Seedoy locked in position. In comes Rubik. Sunlight trying to help out. Stomp helping out. And a hit. That's a double kill for Sky. They get it. No black hole needed in the end. Just a right click's enough. And the disable still enough as well. As the Sprout came in, of course, from Eid, who got himself to level 5 with that one. 3-3 now.
Yeah, that was a critical move by Uebelst. It gives a little bit of space to Nature's Prophet. Of course, Enigma becomes involved. You want to use this guy. He's fantastic at sort of rotating into lane and making things happen. So, and he can do a lot of damage. We see Enigmas these days sometimes doing this conversion. It's not as important to max Malefice quickly anymore, simply because you already get the 3 separate mini stuns. You don't have to put a bunch of points into it to guarantee the multiple stuns. So more demonic conversion means Eidolons that deal a lot more damage.
Yeah, and that means also that he could actually take that fight without using his black hole.
Right, and that's fantastic because it's so mana expensive too.
Yeah, and it's also a pretty good threat. Like RoX.KIS, they know, like if they want to try and make something happen as a team, they're still going to be up against that black hole. You kind of don't really want to risk that. They do have a pretty good ganking lineup as well, though, with the Spirit Breaker there. I'm kind of waiting for the point where Nexus is going to just say, you know what, I'm going to charge bottom lane or something like that, because I think he can.
He has to have the right angle. Like, for instance, if he charged Sky right now, he would go through 4 towers along the way.
Not really ideal.
Yeah, but I think they will find that timing. The fact is that they didn't win the 3 vs 2 lane as much as maybe they wanted to. So now they're in the position where their supports are actually level starved a little bit. So in the 3v2 lane, now you have Sunlight at 4, Yol at 4, whereas the supports, only one support really, Alex is at 5. But they will get another kill on ED here. There's no way Nature's Prophet can live.
And Sunlight once again there to get some experience for that. Gets level 5 with that as well. Right now only Abaddon is at level 4, which is the lowest level on the map. Highest level still Spirit Breaker, but that's of course because of the massive amount of kills he's been able to get.
Exactly.
And Razor with a haste rune tried to make something happen, but a TP came in, got cancelled again, but was shortly there to just force BZ back again. He is winning his mid lane quite hard though. I mean, he's 39 for 21. 21 denies on that Razor, while OD is sitting on 25 to 4, level 8. The levels are fairly even. Long live Astral Imprisonment. Bottom lane actually might have some action again. We have a Sprouting up on Yol. Stomp still stuns up Eid. In comes an arrow. Shield already popped, and Yol, level 4. He is gonna pay for that, and he will end up going down. But at least they take the Bane with them. Because Cedo
they lose Nature's Prophet again.
Stampede!
They don't have protection though.
Can they actually take him down? They just, oh, Moonlight Shadow. It looks like it's gonna be enough for now, as Sky, he doesn't want to be invisible. He wants to take down Sunlight. Eid comes back as well, and he should be able to help kill off that Rubik. No, they don't find him. Oh, Eid stuck around too long. That's gonna be a kill. Was he actually stuck there?
Did you see what happened? No, not only was he stuck, he attack canceled on Centaur. You should never do that.
You're gonna take damage from that.
Yeah, he took like 10 hits of return. Oh no. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, that's a completely unnecessary death for Mirana. If you attack cancel on Centaur, that's what happens to you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Spearbreaker, by the way, finished his Mask of Madness, so we're gonna have a Bullman in the mix. Yola's in trouble, probably dies
Yol
again,
was pretty dead.
It's okay for Yol to repeatedly die. Like, it's not great, obviously, but their 3 cores are all doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, they are the top 3 highest net worth heroes on the map, with Spearbreaker leading everything. And now, of course, with the Mask of Madness, I mean, I think he's looking pretty scary. Normally, I mean, Spearbreakers don't really need that much to be scary.
No, they really don't. He's really, early on, is more level dependent. BKB is incredibly important for him, especially in a game like this, although there are 2 BKB piercing disables, but you certainly don't want to get arrowed or nightmared while you're bullmanning your way through the underbrush. So eventually he'll go the BKB. I think the mask does give him a lot more killing potential. Like Nature's Prophet, you mentioned earlier, like he can't really go to the lane. Now he can't even be like on the map, right? Because he's just going to have an enormous cow up in his grill.
Never a good thing. Eid, by the way, I mean, he's also fairly far from his Hand of Midas. He opted to go for the Bacillus first because he felt like, oh, wait a second, that's gonna be Alex in a bit of trouble. In comes an arrow, but it's gonna be too late for the Bane. Yul still takes the arrow, but not gonna be any follow-up. In the meantime, in the mid lane, in comes the charge from Spearbreaker, able to take down the OD, but gets harassed on by Pass, who comes in. In comes Nature's Prophet as well. He tries to get away, Stampede trying to help, but the Sprout is there. This should be Nexus going down, unless BZ can turn it around. He's actually turning it around. Still, Nature's Prophet gets the kill, but BZZ gets himself a kill on Nature's Prophet as well, and makes it worth it in the end.
Yeah, you do see that the pain of the Malefice just stunning him so much as he tried to get out of the fight, Spearbreaker, I mean. But he's still 4-1-1, and it's okay as Spearbreaker to set up a favorable trade like that and give your bovine life for it. So he'll still be. I think RoX.KIS are still happy with the way that this is running. It could be worse for Uebelst, though. Again, the dual lane was fine. Mirana has gotten decent farm, not amazing, but decent, and he's going to try to do catch up. So you can see Sky is actually taking Midas. Very rare pickup for Mirana, but their idea here, I think, is just to sort of outlast and get to the point at which Mirana gets really scary.
Are you expecting Nature's Prophet to still go Midas then as well, or is he going to be for something else instead?
He could go for Mech, is an option.
And Mech is already there upon Exist.
Oh yeah, sorry, what am I saying? Of course, the OD is going to get it. I suspect he probably will still go the Midas, but I agree with you that it's very concerning
Alex
to have this Nature's Prophet.
Alex is not gonna die. Well, he's still being charged, actually. In comes Nexus with a Nether Strike as well. That's gonna be at least 1 kill. In comes Death from Imprisonment. Razor in the end with the last hit as Centaur gets Mirana at the back end of the fight. Pass still getting chased down. OD also making his way to his towers. Looks like Pass, he's got 224 tech damage, so nice! Sprout trying to stop BZ from chasing, but 1 hit is needed, and with that shield, he can just chase. Look at that, 2 hits, 1 more hit needed, doesn't want to have a miss. Boom, triple kill for BZZ. Goes for the next one, goes for Exist, that's gonna be an ultra kill. Well, if he wasn't get a kill steal there. Cedo in the end the one to go down. I actually think he could have stayed alive there if he didn't go for that Blade Edge.
Double Edge? Yeah, probably,
edge.
But whatever. They have a pretty hyped team. I don't blame them for doing things like double edging in dangerous situations and spear breakering. I mean, this is what RoX.KIS needed to do, right? Like, this is a lineup that really wants to just, from basically 10 minutes to 20 minutes, make it impossible for Uebelst to do anything on the map. And the thing is, with this heavy Midas approach, they have rendered themselves a little bit vulnerable to this. No Fiend's Grip, but yeah, BZZ is just gonna... Ooh, nice arrow.
Yeah, we're gonna see Moonlight Shadow trying to help out. Nightmare's already there, but in comes a charge up on Mirana. They know exactly where he is.
Comes.
And they're gonna chase him down. There is a stun. A couple hits needed. The Moonlight Shadow's still there, though. And Sunlight in some trouble. Stomp's gonna help him out. Cedo in there. Moonlight Shadow is running out. Maybe we're gonna have a turnaround for a black hole. Look at the positioning. It's actually a really good location. We are having Eat picked off. The arrow hits on Sunlight. Will not be able to join his team as Enigma still dies. Can't really get himself out. And of course, that's the Blink Dagger of Cedo that helps with this initiation. Exists still kind of stuck in there as well. Getting charged. And that is gonna be scouting him out and get him killed off as well as Cedo gets himself another kill. We have 17 to 8, and it is a Bane that is running for his life towards a tier 1. Perhaps, no, oh well, never mind. Oh, nice Nightmare. That should be keeping him safe.
Kind of the issue. Yeah, this is the problem with the Midas on Mirana though. Like, what can she do to counteract this, right? As soon as they actually put some dust on Nexus, Moonlight Shadow is no longer enough to escape.
Yeah. This is starting to get real out of hand for Uebelst. I mean, they picked a little bit more aggressive lineup from the previous lineup that we saw.
Even so,
but it's not aggressive
still
enough.
Yeah, and Enigma's a good pick, but I don't know about this Nature's Prophet this time either. Like, he hasn't really been able to do anything
he died
in
7
either
times
game.
this game. I mean, 17 kills on RoX, 7 of those are on Nature's Prophet. He's gonna try to farm a bit top, perhaps try and take a tower. I mean, so far they haven't taken a single tower, meaning that they don't really get that extra gold that they kind of need to get their core items up. Perhaps it will help.
Absolutely. Because these guys don't need any items to blow you up repeatedly. Like, RoX.KIS's lineup simply is not that item dependent to get this 10 to 15 minute window in which they're really dominant. Like, items are nice. Sure, they'd like the mech on Abaddon. Sure, they'd like... I mean, they built Vanguard on Razor, which is certainly a choice. But, I mean, it does give them a little bit more survivability. And this is all optional. They can dominate you just by pushing Stampede button and pushing Spear Breaker buttons.
Yeah, Nature's Prophet TPing out in time on the top lane, so that Nexus comes to an empty lane, at least. Get some creeps. Mid lane also some pressure applied to a tower. I mean, they just really want to get some gold. They, of course, didn't have a chance to defend their bottom tier 1, no doubt about that one. Yeah. But they didn't end up getting anything in return for it either.
And Blink Centaur is also... I was just talking about how they don't need items, but one item that is very helpful is the Blink Centaur, because he can just blink in, stomp up, Stampede out if he wants to. He can be like a puck, or just follow up with the Stampede to keep everybody in place.
Yep. And we saw him earlier just now trying to go for mid lane, but he kind of stumped before he blinked, so that was kind of a disengage. Luckily for him, Uebelst had no idea, so that was
right.
kind of...
And he's going Blade Mail, which I like. I think it's cost efficient. It does give you that blowout opportunity, and OD, he's not exactly Tinker, but if he tries to throw Sanity's Eclipse while you have Blade Mail up, could be unfun.
Yeah, we've got the smoke up for RoX. They smoke up right on the sentry, but I don't think that Uebelst actually scouted this out. I mean, it's just a sentry after all. In comes an arrow though, trying to scout at something. Doesn't scout out anything after all. Malefice already up on Sunlight, taking a lot of damage from those Eidolons, but Sunlight will be safe. Has a shield as well, so...
Yeah, so that removes the Malefice,
yep.
So it's really good, because you don't get stunned the second or third times.
One of the only viable, like, real stuns that Uebelst has. Just gets
yeah,
removed.
I don't know. I mean, they've got Arrow if they can land it. Nightmare is good. Fiend's Grip is a good spell. Black Hole. Like, they've corrected the problem of not having disables from their previous draft. But, I mean, I said in the draft I wasn't really overly convinced, and they haven't really been able to find space.
Well, right now, it is only Eat that is able to find some farm, and I say that he's able to find some farm, but he still has to be so careful, because if he is just seen and there is Nexus close, Nexus will charge and will kill.
Yeah.
And he can do that just
the nice
by himself.
Thing is, he can, although he really needs Dust if he wants to, because otherwise they'll just Moonlight out of it, and he won't be able to kill.
We have got a mechanism ready up on Yol now, by the way. Of course, on his Abaddon, he is able to be that solid support role that they want. And with Roshan, I'm kind of thinking that RoX, I mean, they're a team that just goes in head first, and with this lineup, that can pay off so well.
Yeah, this is definitely almost the platonic ideal of Russian hyper-aggressive style Dota. Like, if you want to get hyper-aggressive, these are the heroes to do it, man. Spear Breaker, Centaur, Dark Tree.
Dark Tree, aka Abaddon. Abaddon.
Now you're doing it too.
Yeah, it is Abaddon though, like or Abaddon. Abaddon. It's Abaddon.
It's Abaddon. Yeah.
Emphasis on bad. That he's bad. Badass. That is, of course.
Not that he's bad. I mean,
I'm expecting
I
to
was
see a whole lot
initially a
of
little
this guy.
skeptical about the hero. I still think that he does have like some downsides that can be exploited by teams. But in a lineup like this is like the perfect place to use him because he's so good when you're ahead or when you're the team on the aggressive side.
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't really favor lineups that go for super late game, because later on he just doesn't do that much. Wait a second, Fiend's Grip up on Sunlight. BZZ still trying to make something happen here. It's already Sunlight that dies though. BZZ taking a lot of damage as well. In comes a charge. Can they save their teammates in time? Here comes a shield and a heal. BZZ tries to run. He's not able to though. In comes the Sanity's Eclipse. Exists with a double kill. The charge cancelled. Nexus no longer going for it. Good fight going the way of Uebelst. Now, can they only get this going, or are they still gonna get picked off? Seedoy stomping up Marana and gets picked off by Nexus. At least they get something in return for that. They do have Razor bought back though, and they have to try and make it worth it.
I agree. Not the world's greatest fight for RoX.KIS. Very good initiation by Uebelst. The only unfortunate thing is they used every ultimate except Black Hole during that fight. So now RoX.KIS, I actually like this buyback from BZZ because it exploits the fact that Uebelst have these semi-long cooldown ultimates and just you can work in the interim between them.
Yeah, and Enigma is not going to be able to get a Blink Dagger anytime soon, which you probably want to have. Like, if you want to try to initiate on this team, you have to be initiating before they do. And Enigma would be the hero to do that with if you find a good positioning, but he is the one that goes for the mechanism for his team, or at least it looked like that when he picked up the headdress. Apparently he's not able to continue making it though. He, well, hello Nature's Prophet. Yeah, that's a Barong Sprout, you're dead. It's just so easy. If you're around your Spirit Breaker, you're around Nature's Prophet, just he's dead. He also has his BKB ready, by the way.
Exactly, yeah. He finished BKB, he has Aegis. This is one scary Space Cow man.
And we still have OD highest up on the net worth list for Uebelst. But actually,
So.
with Enigma, like the mechanism of course was already there for Exist. We have a headdress up for Enigma. Maybe that was some miscommunication, because a pipe is not really needed up against a team that has so many physical things to throw at you. So perhaps a bit awkward there.
Yeah, I don't know about why you would... I mean, a pipe... There's Double Edge and Razors and Plasma Field, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice to have a pipe, but it's not necessary.
It's
Kinda,
pretty
at this
questionable,
point.
honestly, yeah, the headdress pickup when somebody else was going mech. Or somebody else already had mech from the beginning of the game.
Probably just a little bit of miscommunication. I mean, Puss is the one that is standing in for this one, so perhaps not as used to playing with Uebelst. Although they are all speaking the same language, so in theory they should not be any miscommunication, since, you know, Germans and all that.
Yeah. I mean, RoX.KIS have executed pretty well this game. I think time will tell whether this roster is able to, you know, stay together, do well. At this point, you're more surprised when CIS teams keep the same roster for more than a week than you are when they aren't, I feel, which is fine. I mean, the thing about CDCD is when you have a very young team, I think it's actually okay to say, hey, maybe things aren't working out, like we don't really like the fundamentals of this team. You don't want to be stuck for several months if a particular arrangement isn't working.
Yeah, so far this lineup for RoX.KIS, I'm not sure if it's the lineup like in players or in heroes. I think definitely the heroes do help for sure, but it's working out great. One thing though, I mean, one of the things that is the most difficult for younger teams or maybe inexperienced teams, and also we see the same thing in Uebelst, we see the same thing in RoX.KIS. The captain has got such a big impact. The draft alone has got such a big impact. As we see Uebelst, Alex is drafting for this team. Maybe not the most experienced drafter there is, so Uebelst is still working their way around that. RoX.KIS, however, I mean, they had Godlike drafting from them this weekend, so what BZ did was, you know what, I really like that Centaur battle lane. We're gonna do it again. So, I mean, that kind of does make a difference. I mean, I'm not sure, like, it's not BZ's idea of himself completely.
Right. You think Goblek left his drafting black book at the Russian online cyber sports offices?
I think BZ just really liked playing the lineup and decided, you know what, we're gonna try it again. And,
sure.
It works out with an aggressive trial. I mean, he made some tweaks. He added a solo off lane or solo safe lane Spirit Breaker, which definitely is leaving his mark.
I think they actually would have been winning by an even larger margin if they had gone with your idea of a dual Like, they eventually shifted to 2-1-2.
Yeah.
I think they probably should have started with 2-1-2. They didn't get a lasting advantage in that try, and in fact, it was always going to be difficult to get a lasting advantage in it. So I think they probably should have run the dual top, but it's fine. I mean, it did guarantee Spirit Breaker an absolute ton of XP. I just think they could have gotten that kill on the Nature's Prophet even earlier.
Probably, probably true. We have got 2 level 14s up on the side of RoX.KIS, so the 2 solo lanes of RoX won their lane so hard that they're now 2 levels ahead of the highest level of Uebelst, which is not even one of the mid lanes or one of the solo lanes. It's Enigma that was in the jungle. That is actually level 12. So, I mean, yeah, of course, great. They have the level 11s up on OD and Mirana. Of course, OD having a bit of a bigger impact there, even though he doesn't really have that much intellect just yet, which is kind of scary. But level 14 up on 2 of RoX, it's scary. I'm kind of wondering what can Uebelst do right now to stop RoX, because they don't even have to get back into the game. No, they have to first stop RoX. That's their main priority. How can they stop the death ball that RoX is throwing at them right now?
Black hole.
Yeah. No pressure, Pass. No pressure.
I mean, you know, has he thrown one this game?
Nope. Nope.
Well, so you know, at least you can cast it. It's a pretty cool spell. The only person that you absolutely, you know, I'm being unfairly mean. Pass is an excellent player. I actually thought he was extremely underrated when he was on Mouse. The issue is, of course, that Rubik is going to try to be as far away as possible, and Spirit Breaker might not even be in the fight when you want to cast the Black Hole. So actually, the reason he hasn't been casting it is because there's like the timing window is really bad, right? Like early on, you can catch the Rubik, but you probably just get charged by Spirit Breaker. Later on, you can catch the Spirit Breaker, but Rubik is probably at the fringes of the fight, and you need to catch both or you'll be punished. This is when the whole headdress thing becomes even more of a problem, because he doesn't have BKB, right? Not that he would if he hadn't built the headdress, but he'd be 600 closer to it.
Yeah, or 600 closer to Blink Dagger to get that perfect initiation.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I think that they need to let RoX.KIS take their last 2 tier 2s because they can't defend. I think it makes perfect sense to try to trade a tier 1 or something for it. Avoid a fight, get BKB for Enigma, and then work from there. Sorry, yeah.
Well, we're gonna see if they get the time for that. We have got Pass trying to defend the top lane. Doesn't look like RoX is gonna go for the tier 3 just yet, as there was a bit of a go for Uebelst on the tier 2, just to maybe force RoX back, of course. But this was the first tier 1 that they actually took down a tier 1 mid, so they get some extra gold, which is of course mostly important right now for supports, because look at Bane. I mean, apart from being level 8, which is just not that high, even though I don't think it's that big of a difference between Rubik now. Rubik level 9. But Bane only has boots and a magic stick. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you've got yourself, I mean, of course they had an Enigma that really helps out in terms of getting some extra golden experience on your team, just in general, because you got the solid jungle heroes, and it does help them keep maybe a little bit more even with RoX, but they're still 12k gold behind. They're still 10k experience behind.
Yeah, my main issue is just that the Nature's Prophet is level, like, okay, Bane is level 8, but his Brain Sap is maxed, and he has Fiend's Grip, and you can't expect that much more than that against a team like what RoX.KIS is packing here. The problem is the distance between where Nature's Prophet could be and where he is. He has an Ult Orb, which is an extremely gold inefficient item, right? And that is actually the only thing he has other than Basilius and Brown Boots. And he's level 9, he's only 1 level above the Bane, he's the same level as Rubik. What contribution is this Nature's Prophet going to be able to give to a fight?
None, or at least not that much. He has his ulti, but still level 1, which is really not doing that much right now. Especially not since Joel can just heal up his entire team. I mean, he's got mechs,
Right.
he has got, of course, his heal, just in general. And he is feeling pretty safe right now, I'd say. And on top of that, I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier when Mirana went for the Hand of Midas. Hasn't really paid off just yet. I mean, she's got 1700 gold treads and a Ring of Bacillus as well, by the way. So, you know, 2 is cool. But hasn't really gotten anything other than that either. And actually, Mirana, in terms of what she has, I mean, in terms of gold, she is a little bit ahead, of course, of the net worth. She is ahead of the Nature's Prophet because of her Hand of Midas, because of what the Hand of Midas is worth. But it doesn't actually do anything. So she's actually behind the Nature's Prophet in terms of what kind of thing she has.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely concerning. I don't think the Midas pick has really been vindicated just yet. Midas is typically an item that you can go when your positioning is relatively safe, so you know you're going to get all that time. Instead, their positioning was quite fraught considering the draft they were up against, and so they just haven't gotten the space or the time, really. And RoX.KIS, absolutely correctly, in my opinion, are trying to press their advantage while they have it, press the Aegis while they have it, and I think it's going to be tough to defend this high ground push.
Yeah, the Aegis is going to disappear soon, though. 6 seconds, so they're not going to have it for this high ground push. But we'll see. We have an arrow up on Rubik, so if they get a good initiation, I mean, if Seedoy thinks he sees something and jumps up and stomps and he gets 1 or 2 in there, that's going to be initiating, and there's not that much the Uebelst can do to stop it apart from a black hole, which is 300 gold away from getting picked up on Mirana. We have a blink in for Seedoy, didn't catch out anybody, gets Astro imprisoned and enfeebled. Arrow will miss everybody again. We're still waiting for that right moment for Puffs to go in.
Yeah. Both arrows miss from Rubik and Mirana, and they're just pushing down this tier 3.
Yeah,
is Businessy done with his Aghanim? Yeah, he's done with Aghanim Scepter, so this tower's gonna meld.
Look at that lightning, he's bashing on that tower. Fortification gets used, arrow will miss once again. So positioning is the most important thing here for RoX. And Enigma, no BKB. And they're not even trying to initiate, they know they cannot fight this without a good black hole. And they can't have a good hole without having the BKB ready, and even then, they have to, like, you still have to walk into the fight, and everybody of RoX is faster.
You should sell the headdress. You should sell the headdress, obviously, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he'll have it.
I don't know why he's not selling it. I mean, the positioning is really tricky. He doesn't want to go back to Fountain to try to do that, but it's tough. They're running out of time before they just get racked. Razor's gonna have ult up in 10 seconds again, and that's gonna be racked.
There's no reason here for RoX to back off. I mean, they've got plenty of heals. They haven't even been forced to fight, as an arrow actually hits Mirana. RoX not going in just yet. I mean, Seedoy, the one that you would expect to initiate, can't really do so because he's completely out of mana. In comes the OD, Sedatis Eclipse doing a lot of damage to Seedoy, but he pops his blade. No, in comes a black hole up onto BCZ, and Seedoy will get brought down. Uebelst is defending their racks. Sunlight goes down as well. Astral imprisonment there. In comes the buybacks. Nexus still in this. Tries to run for it. Joel running for his life as well. Already has used up his borrowed time. Arrow will fly. Will not hit on Nexus anymore. They will take down. Yeah, they will shoot take down the Abana. I was gonna say, because that would be awkward if he was able to TP out from the midst of that. But that is a good defense, if any. I mean, it is a defense. Let's put it at that. They saved their racks, which is, I mean, this is the best one they could have hoped for without having a perfect black hole.
Oh, Centaur!
Ooh, wants to really go for Eid. One more hit. Can he actually get it? Needs a vision. TP out is there. Eid. One more hit. There we go. That's gonna be a kill indeed, and that's a bit unlucky that it's only Sprout level 1. That kind of cost him his life right there. His lack of levels.
He spent buyback to get the Nature's Prophet kill, but I think it's okay. If he had also gotten whoever was TPing just now, that would have been huge. But I think it was Bane. Still, that's a nice kill. I gotta say, Uebelst's good defense. They waited absolutely as long as they possibly could. Another half second and they would have lost their barracks. But what they did really well there was ensure that neither Rubik nor Spirit Breaker are able to interfere with BKB. Sorry, with Black Hole. And then Black Hole everybody was left. So, very smart positioning there and correct order of operations as far as their abilities go. And now Enigma does have BKB. So, the next Black Hole is going to be a lot less hard to hit. The problem is, next Black Hole isn't for another minute and a half.
Yeah, which might be cause for RoX to just try and fight right now, knowing that the Black Hole is on cooldown. In comes an arrow, hits a creep actually. Seedoy, of course, I mean, one of the problems he had previous game, they go for Enigma. Screw you with your Black Hole pass. You're gonna be brought down. Nightmare will save him for a little while, but Astral Imprisonment actually as well. Exist will pay for that one if he's not careful. Yep, there he goes. Down goes the Razor. Down goes the 10-second BKB on Enigma, and Enigma himself as well as Joel gets hit by an arrow, but everybody being there from RoX.KIS. They will take down the racks on the bot lane once and for all. Yeah, and they'll rotate top. No OD, no Enigma, and of course, there is a buyback on both of them, and actually they both buy back.
Yeah, they have to. Farmed Center is such a good pusher too. Like, they have a really good pushing composition, actually. It's not heroes that you think of, like when you think, hey, what's a good pushing composition? I don't know, I guess Shadow Shaman, Leshrac. Razor with Ags is actually an amazing pusher. Centaur, especially once he finishes Heart #1, is actually a really, really great pusher as well, because he is the best thing to tank tower hits, because return works on towers.
Yeah, the Centaur, I mean, I keep going on about it, but we saw it on Saturday with 2 hearts. And he could just, 2 hearts and then, and then Assault Cuirass. He could just sit at a tower, and tank it. Or not even
Yeah.
tank it without actually hitting it, and the tower would just die real fast.
Exactly. I'm fully in support of 6 heart Centaur. Just every slot should be a heart.
Well, you already asked the Vitality booster, so I'm thinking we're gonna be starting to see the first one soon.
Definitely.
We do have the Aegis now back up on Nexus, so a Spirit Breaker, of course, they didn't have it in the previous fight, or the fight before the previous fight again, the fight that they actually lost. But next one he'll have it, and he is building towards his Assault Cuirass, so we'll have that for his team as well. Of course, the extra armor will make it even tougher to kill off the heroes of RoX.KIS.
Right. Yeah, I think RoX.KIS are playing this correctly. They have Raxed a lane. Once they got the buybacks out, it probably wasn't smart to try to Rax the second lane as well, so they pulled out at the right time. Uebelst still have a scary lineup. Like, we saw that successful defense of the tier 3 earlier with the well-timed Black Hole Insanity's Eclipse. So RoX.KIS are dancing around that a little bit, but eventually they'll just get the ball rolling again, I think, pretty soon. And I think, yeah, we're going to see Refresher in about 3k gold for BZZ.
Nice.
And if anybody hasn't seen Aghadim's Refresher Razor, it's definitely a sight.
A very scary sight if you're on the side of Uebelst.
Yeah, if you're actually epileptic, you probably shouldn't be watching Dota at the point that Razor uses Refresher Ags.
Yeah, that is also true. And yeah, you're right. Never try that on the WTF mode either. Your computer will not like it.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, Uebelst able to defend for now, but what are they getting in return for defend? Like, what are they defending for? Nature's Prophet to grow
to get Scythe, basically.
Even that
But
will
he's
not
still
really
pretty
be...
far. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary. I mean, the rest is all sitting in the base. Miranda is not able to farm. OD is not able to farm, and both of those really need their levels and experience and their gold. And not able to get it. Stomp, Alex, Storm Prism will keep Alex safe for now, but will it be lasting for long? Moonlight Shadow there as well. Tier 3 tower almost down already. Fortification used. Nature's Prophet thinking about perhaps TPing back towards his team, or gonna try to continue to push on the top lane. I mean, that's where he's at right now. But he just doesn't really have the items to split push that fast just yet. Well, down goes the tower at least. 12 HP, and his Razor that gets the last hit. Onto the Rex. Uebelst waiting for that big black hole to come out, waiting for that team fight, but look at the positioning of RoX. They're so spread out, they're so well aware that this is one of their scariest things. Fiend's Grip up on Razor, that might be cost. Nice Sanity's Eclipse as well, as Bane gets picked up still. In comes a black hole, it catches 3, but Rubik, he actually cannot steal that anymore. He stole the Sanity's Eclipse instead. But it doesn't really matter, they weren't able to kill off anybody in the duration of that black hole. And look at the HP bars of RoX.KIS, they're climbing up again as they're getting healed. And they will take the racks and move top to take down the last lane. The tier 3 tower already under siege. Nature's Prophet came in to join the fight, got killed off already, and that's gonna be probably game.
In the end, that was a good black hole, but
Yeah.
their damage consists of Sanity's Eclipse and black hole, because the Mirana doesn't have Manta done. Like, she's not doing much of anything right now, she's only level 13. And the Nature's Prophet, even after all that trying to split push and farm, etc., he's only at level 12. So they just don't have damage to do anything after they use their big ultimates. And unfortunately, that means RoX.KIS are able to ride sort of their lineup and their early mid-game dominance to victory. But, I mean, you can't feel bad about a game won by Spirit Breaker, Centaur, War Runner, and Abaddon. It's
Definitely
pretty
not.
entertaining, at least, before it gets overexposed.
And who knows, maybe we'll see some more of that in the next game, because we're gonna see RoX again. And I say the next game because it's also up against NextKZ. Ha! I didn't even know that I made that pun until I saw that it was NextKZ. But it was a pun.
Played.
RoX.KIS taking on NextKZ. That will be our next match. We'll start in 10 minutes time, so get yourself another drink. I mean, why not, right? Get yourself some popcorn if we're gonna see Centaur again with the Spirit Breaker and Abaddon, and I really hope that NextKZ have watched this game so that they can maybe be a little bit more prepared than Uebelst was in this one. Uebelst, though, having their second loss of today, second loss in StarSeries. We're gonna see if they can get themselves a win in later tonight, because we're gonna see them again as the last game of today. But for now, let's jump ourselves on to RoX.KIS versus NextKZ. Don't go anywhere unless you're getting a drink, in which case you're going somewhere and then you're gonna come back. Awesome.